welcome y'all to Intrepid Songwriter, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter, because seriously, who does that? And I'm here to help you get on the fast track. Today on the show, I'm going to introduce you to a brother that has a variety of talents and skills, because nowadays you can't just do one thing. He blogs, he writes, he coordinates, he does a bunch of stuff. I'm going to let you tell him about himself, but right now I'm bringing to you Brother from Brother Music. What's up?
Yes, sir. What's up? What's up? You forgot to add student to that. I'm a full-time student as well.
Oh, okay. So juggling a lot of plates, huh?
Yeah, man. A lot of them. A lot of them.
Cool. So tell me now,
Yeah.
how long have you been in the music industry?
I would say seriously, probably since 2006.
Uh-huh.
That's when I really started investing in equipment and deciding that I was going to do it on my own. You know what I mean?
What kind of equipment did you invest in? What did you get?
Computer, a keyboard with a sequencer on it, so that I can really, save my work. And
Those were the days back in the day.
yeah, and just little stuff here and there, little beat machines, you know what I'm saying, until I was able to, get the bigger stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite piece of gear?
Right now, laptop. If you had a MIDI controller, it's nothing you can do. Like, it used to be my Roland Phantom, but the Phantom has limitations, you know what I'm saying? But if you have a laptop, you can do everything from create sounds to sampling, mixing, mastering, burn a CD, upload it digitally, distribute it. The laptop is the one-stop shop, you know what I'm saying?
That's really
It's the
true.
studio. Yeah, it's the studio, it's the designer, it's the information source, everything.
What DAW do you use? What digital audio workstation is your favorite? Pro Tools,
You know what?
Logic?
That's a funny question because, like, this is a conversation that I've had with other engineers. Most engineers say Pro Tools because it's the standard in all the commercial studios. I ran with Cubase 1 for a while, but now within the last couple months, I switched over to open source operating system, Ubuntu.
Really?
And so I'm working with open. Yeah, I'm working with open source software right now. So I'm learning this program called Ardor, and of course everybody's familiar with Audacity. I do a little something with that, but my fallback on program is Cubase. Cubase.
Me too. That is what I learned.
Yeah. And I dabble in Sonar as well. And I was with Sonar before they became Sonar when they were Cakewalk. So they went Cakewalk 1 through 9, and then Cakewalk became Sonar. And now Sonar, they're going like Sonar 10 or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty big.
Wow.
Yeah.
You went way back to Cakewalk.
Yeah, man. That was like 90s, late 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now, do you play any musical instruments, any acoustic or electric instruments?
Yeah, I play acoustic guitar, basic chords, you know what I'm saying? I can strum pretty good. I play basic keys. I would say the main source of my music, though, is either playing like simple melodies with really nice drums or, sampling something and putting some nice drums on top of that, or both.
Do you like live drums? Do you like loops, or do you use a machine? Like,
See,
I've been using
that right there.
Well, I've been using BTV Solo for a while, the software.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah. I would say it depends on the sound I'm trying to achieve, because sometimes I want to make like a up-tempo like dance track, and that could be synthesized drums. Other times, like if you're sampling something like James Brown or some jazz, it's better to have live drums, or at least sampled live drums, so that you capture that live sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't really explain. It just depends on the mood and what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, I would say yes to everything.
Okay, now I want you to tell my audience the many different things that you do in the music industry.
Wow. I do a few. The main thing is produce, make beats. Right now I'm taking a music theory class, and so I'm trying to learn the way to communicate what I play And so, learning thirds and, triads and crap like that. So yeah, production, yeah. Production. Like you were saying, I have a blog. I have a website that I run. I publish music. Of course, I digitally distribute music for artists. Um, I should have all this stuff written down, but I don't. I'm going off the top of my head, but it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. I do some consulting, and I was going to get into some management stuff, but the management part of this industry is a little bit more cutthroat than just doing production and trying to get deals and things like that. And so I kind of pulled back from that.
Why do you think management is more cutthroat?
Management is well, it depends on what type of manager you are. Um, Managers and A&Rs, I think they are looking for talent, or they have talent that they're trying to display. Managers are usually working for a percentage, or you could say some type of commission on the work that they do, and so they got to grind to get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the fact that I'm straying away from the grind, but it's more of the dirty part of trying to get work. You know what I'm saying? Or the dirty work of convincing people of certain things so that you can get money. It's just not the route that I want to take.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to learn to hustle a lot harder when you manage and trying to sell artists. Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
Whether it be real or whether it be fake, you know what I'm saying?
Are you selling the real deal, or you just selling the hype? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of stuff do you like to blog about the most? What are some of your favorite topics?
Copyright, publishing, really just do it yourself stuff. This is like the industrial revolution of the indie artist. So if you think of
explain that now.
If you think of like the steel industry in the 20s, how they jumped off, and then you had steel mills popping up everywhere. It's the same way with basement studios now and home studios, and people just recording on their laptops. It is hey, what's up? I'm gonna say what's up to my neighbor real quick. Yeah, so yeah, it's just like the industrial revolution, because everybody is on a like super grind to make their product go. And there's so many things that you can do from your individual quote steel mill unquote to make, like if you look at the steel industry, they made cars, they made airplanes, they made all of these different types of structures, buildings, skyscrapers from the steel. And so the do-it-yourself industry right now is just getting a grasp of what we can actually do with this industry. Like, I don't think we understand the power yet, but we're at the just beginning stages of the industrial revolution of music. And so I like blogging about it because ultimately the artists and the producers own everything and have the power. It's just understanding, what that means, and then taking that and turning it into an airplane, turning it into a car, turning it into a skyscraper. Does that make sense at all?
No, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You're saying
all right, cool.
You think we're at the beginning of the bell curve, in other words, in terms of what we can create and put out and all that. But what about the fact that all the platforms are free? How do we monetize if all the platforms themselves are free?
And see, that's the conversation right now. That's the biggest part of the conversation, is how do we take this steel mill and develop the contacts that we need? We got all this steel, and how do we move it? How do we sell it? How do we value it? How do we price it? How do we get people to buy it? And so I think that that's on a case by case basis, and that's on a company by company basis. With distributed music and all those things being free, it's really up to the shareholders, so to speak, the people who own the music. You don't have to necessarily go through another company to distribute your music. You can go to Apple directly yourself. If you want to put your music in their stores through a Mac, whether you got a server or whatever. And so you can distribute your music from your own website and it be exclusive. And you make all your money. You know what I'm saying? Nobody takes anything from you.
Right.
And so monetization, I would say, 100% is in the artist and the producer's hands. And then at the same time, it's important for artists to realize the power of, and it's going to sound silly, but selling records out of the trunk and going to your local stores and getting your stuff on consignment and just pushing everything yourself. That's really where the money's at. And, on the road doing shows. Getting paid directly. That's the monetization. The internet.
We've gone back to, because what you're describing is like 80s approach where we're selling out the car and we're, getting on the road but building that direct relationship with fans. Because that's how Hammer did it way back in the day, before you got signed.
And I think that's the best way. And then all of that grind translates to the internet. Now, not to take away from the internet grind, not to take away from, YouTube spins, Twitter follows, Facebook likes. I'm not trying to take away from any of that stuff, but nothing is like a person-to-person contact. Nothing's like a real experience where you shake somebody's hand or say, what's up? Where you on stage and, you reach down and shake somebody's hand. It's nothing like that. But at the same time, I do think that on the internet side of things, there's a way to garner a following and never have a person-to-person contact. And it depends on, what type of following that you want to build too. That's an interesting point that you brought up. Let me make sure my light is right. You can make a digital trance type album and put it on iTunes and drop it on SoundCloud and then get a bunch of repost and sell 100,000 copies in a month. That's totally possible. But I think that the person-to-person relationship that you build with your fans and with rapport is a little bit longer standing. And you build a following that will support you and trust you enough to bring into their home, so to speak. And I think that's really important. Internet is fickle. You know the term internet gangster. You got internet fans too. Some people, they only support you as far as, clicks are concerned. And just because, your following may support one particular single that you drop does not mean that they're going to support your entire project. And so, real fans, they tend to be a little bit more supportive than, internet people, because the internet is it's a crazy place.
No, that's
does that make any sense?
Lady Gaga had like 10 million Twitter followers. And she dropped whatever her latest single was, and she didn't get like 100,000 downloads.
Yeah.
So the next one she gave away for free, and didn't get as many.
You got to build it up,
right?
You got to build it up.
That's a good point about the internet sometimes being fickle, though, because you want people to actually come to the show and actually pay for the ticket. Right.
Yes. Yes. The Twitter and the Facebook and Instagram and all of that, they don't always translate to each other. And, likes don't always transfer into the actual. It's a niche market. There are companies out there that, have it locked. Like there are sections of Apple Music that can guarantee that if this artist comes to them at this time, they will guarantee at least 64,000 in sales. Like there are niche departments like that, but again, we're at the beginning of the industrial revolution of music, and Apple has been around since the early '80s, and it's a real big learning curve for home studios and people who are just starting out with like Fruity Loops and all of those things. You know what I'm saying?
I do, I do. What do you think about Tidal as a model? Do you think other artists like Jay-Z ought to come up with their own distribution just for artists on that level? What do you think about that?
I think that, if it were possible, every artist or producer or record label should be their own title. I think that Jay-Z is exceptional with coming up with the idea. At the same time, it's something that all artists should strive for. It shouldn't just be something where, people look at one person and say, okay, everybody go and herd up over here. All right, what's the next big thing? Everybody heard of, and not to knock what he's doing. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing feat for somebody to to man just really climb out of the bucket, if you know what I mean when I say that, and set a trend, start a company that's that's record breaking, because there's not too many black men. Actually, I think he's the only black man that has a streaming company. But there's so many streaming companies popping up now. Even YouTube is about to drop one soon. Facebook is about to start streaming videos and whatnot. And so, if at all possible, everybody should shoot for that. And if not, they should keep as much creative control as they can. Because anytime you upload your music somewhere, you have to sign some type of agreement electronically. And, you don't know what JoeSchmo.com is doing with your music.
No, you don't.
All you get is a statement, and not with all companies, but I think that there are some. I've seen some shady practices with some companies, and so it's very important to, like I said, keep as much creative control as you can. If you can start your own streaming service, you got that kind of money, by all means. You know what I'm saying? If you know you're gonna be successful with it. But if it's a stab in the dark, definitely take that money and put it in another area where you know it's gonna work.
Now tell me this, what do you wish you had known about the music industry when you were first starting out? What do you wish somebody had told you from the jump?
I wish I had known that the power of the home PC gave me equal as the big boys, internet wise. There's so many people on the internet now that if I had known then the power of the internet and where Google was going and where Yahoo was going, I would be a little bit further ahead than I am right now. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the biggest thing, learning and getting intimate with Windows and how that correlates with the internet and how that correlates with music was something that, it took me a little time. And so if I had known then what I know now, I probably would have spent a lot more time trying to sync those three things together.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So tell me this. Now, when you're working with writers, do you prefer like singer-songwriters, artists that do their own music, or do you want artists that are willing to let other people write stuff for them?
That's really not a big issue. More so just humility in artists. If they don't write and just sing, cool. Long as you're not a prima donna. If you write and you sing, cool. Long as you're not a prima donna. And And even prima donnas are cool as long as it's just not that whole pride thing. It's kind of like, when you're writing, you want to work with somebody who is willing to give you as much freedom as you need and not chop you off on the first bar or the third bar, the fifth bar, and say, "Oh no, sorry, that'll never do," or um, somebody who's not willing to learn or try something different. Because fear, it paralyzes a lot of artists. They don't know what they can do. They don't know what they should do. This. What are people gonna think about that? And so it just depends on the situation too. But most of the time, if it's a humble artist who's willing to learn, it doesn't matter where they are in their career or what they do. It's really cool to work with people who are open to not only learn, but willing to learn and not afraid to be creative. That's the biggest things that I was saying. It really sucks when somebody is too afraid to try something new or too proud to allow somebody to write for them or, just kill the creative process with their, ego. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter whether they write or not.
Okay. All right. Now, where do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years? Do you still want to be producing? Do you want to move to Los Angeles? Do you want to have your own bigger label? Like, what's your long game in terms of 2 to 5 years?
Well, in the next 4 years, I have my minor in music.
Okay.
And so I'll be degreed up. And as far as production, yeah, definitely. I'll hopefully have some script writing under my belt with DAWs because it's a couple products that I want to invent. And writing, I never stop writing. I'm always writing. I'm writing some rap songs right now. I have a guitarist that I'm writing some praise and worship songs with. I have some other rappers that I'm working on stuff with, and so it's a continual thing. I would say at least 2 projects a year from now till then. So I say probably at least like 8 to 10 projects done, mixed and mastered out there, and I would say that's a pretty good goal.
How do you
I don't plan on moving out of the shop.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Because most people when they blow up, they can't wait to get to the coast or get to ATL or something. You know that.
Yeah, I don't plan on moving out of the shop, but I don't know. The wind might blow.
Now, how do you get your writers together for your projects? Like when you have an artist and you want to get 12 or 14 song CD, do you call in like people you've written with over the years? Do you let them bring their own writer? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you put that team together to get the whole CD done?
I'm usually open. I found out that Craigslist is not necessarily the best place because
That's an understatement.
just like myself, I'm really weird, and it's a lot of other weird people on Craigslist, and so Craigslist is definitely out. But yeah, it's usually word of mouth. I work with a lot of other producers and artists, and so it's a certain lane that you have to take. If somebody just walks up to me and they dope, I'll be willing to work with them. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like the projects, it just depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. And then if there are any check writers involved, comes into play too, because you have to play into the interest of the people who are funding the project, which is not always the best, but it's business. So it just depends on the project. It's a case by case thing.
Now tell us every place we can find you online. If people want to check you out, where can they go online?
My Twitter handle is @BruhLuhMusic, BruhLuhMusic. If you Google Bruh or Bruh Music, then you can find my podcast. You can find my Facebook. Instagram, all of that stuff. But it's Bruh, bruhluhmusic.com.
Okay. Cool. All right, man. Well,
Yep.
I want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your time and just answering your questions honestly and just letting people know that it's about that grind, that it doesn't just come to you like magic,
Oh,
but
for
you
sure.
got to, pay your dues to get to where you want to go. So,
Yeah, read. You got to read. Everything takes reading, whether it's, from learning a new piece of equipment out of the box or your contract when you uploading a song to a digital distributor. You got to read to know what's going on. Don't be scared to read.
cool. All right, man. We'll
Yeah.
talk again soon. Thanks so much.
All right, cool. Peace out.